Hello everyone, welcome to Lab 14, What is Asynchronous Controller? Hope you have enjoyed all our previous 13 labs and learned lots of things about MVC development. Now in this lab, we'll speak about asynchronous controllers. Our sample application contains a UI, or in terms of MVC, a view which is divided into 4 sections: section 1, section 2, section 3 and section 4. Each of these section is displaying some kind of data. Now let's look at the code and understand from where this data is coming. First, let's look at the view. As you can see, our view is a strongly typed view of type dashboard view model, and these 4 sections are getting data from its properties. Now let's get into the controller and see what kind of code is written over there. Here we have a simple action method called dashboard, where we are creating an object of dashboard view model, and then we create the object of dashboard business layer. Now let's look at the dashboard business layer. For that, right click, say go to definition. This business layer contains simple 4 methods: get data 1, get data 2, get data 3 and get data 4. Each of these methods will return some kind of data. Now let's come back to controller. Let's right click this dashboard view model and say go to definition. As you can see, this class dashboard view model contains simple 4 properties of type string. Now let's get back to our controller and see what else is written here. As you can see, after we create object of dashboard business layer, we invoke each of the functions inside it one by one, and whatever it will return, we are storing it inside a dashboard view model property. And finally, we pass this dashboard view model object as a parameter to view function, and ultimately this data will get available to our strongly typed view. Now this example is quite simple, but in real scenario, each one of these method may contain some heavy logic. Heavy logic means logic which will take more time to execute. Your logic may be a database logic, or maybe a web invocation logic, or maybe something else. But at the end of the day, your function execution is going to take time. Now in order to simulate this scenario, what I'll do is I'll come to my get data 1 method and I'll add a simple line here, task. Okay, in order to use task, we need to put a namespace that is using system.threading.task. If you don't know what is mean by this task, then please go through task parallelly library video from our questpondvd.com. Okay, now let's come back to our method. I'll say task.delay 1000.delay.wait. It will make our application halt for 1 second. Now let me copy the code and let me put it in all the functions. Okay, now when someone make request to this dashboard action, he will get output after 4 seconds. Now just to make sure that it's actually taking 4 seconds to execute, what I'll do is I'll create a stopwatch here. Okay, and for that we need to put this using stopwatch w equal to new stopwatch, and I'll say w.start, and then I'll say here w.stop, and I'll simply add a data inside this view bag dot time is equal to w.elapsed milliseconds and semicolon. Now I'll go to my view. Okay, we'll copy this and I'll say total execution time is, I'll say @viewback.time. Now let's execute this application and let's test. For that, let's press F5 and it's there. It will take 4 seconds to execute. See, execution time is 4 seconds. Let me say reload again, and you will see that we are getting output after 4 seconds. Now the point here is, if you look at the code in our controller, see, each one of these method is actually independent method. So what I believe is each one of these method should get executed in multi-threaded manner, and once the execution of all of these methods completes, we should get the output. So let's implement multi-threading here, and let's see what kind of benefits we get. Now for that, what I'll do is I'll simply remove this code and I'll put task dot factory dot start new. It means create a new task and execute it, and what we will get in response, we will get string. See, basically when we invoke this get data 1, we are going to get string in the output. That's why we should put string as a generic parameter here, and then simply put the name of the method, that is dbl dot get data 1. This start new method will simply return a task object, task string, I'll say t1. Then I'll do the same thing for other 3 methods. I'll say t2, t3 and t4. Get data 2, get data 3 and get data 4. Next point is, now before this method, this line get executes, we have to make sure that these 4 tasks have completed their execution, so that we can get the return values of those 4 tasks and populate this data property, data object of dashboard view, data object of this dashboard view model class. So for that, what I'll do is I'll say task dot when all t1 comma t2 comma t3 comma t4. That means execute next line only after these 4 tasks complete their execution. Then I'll say data dot data 1 is equal to t1 dot result, and then I'll do the same thing for other 4 properties, data 2, data 3 and data 4, t2, t3 and t4. So now let's execute and let's see what kind of output we will get. Press F5, click reload. As you can see, we are getting this output in 2 seconds. Let me say reload. See, it's not actually taking 4 seconds, rather we are getting all the data in 1 second. Let me do it again, 1 second. Let me do it again, 1 second. And the reason for that is all 4 of these methods are executing in multi-threaded manner. Okay, and this line will execute when all 4 of them completes execution. Okay, so ultimately there is one main thread which is executing, which will reach this line, okay, which will come here, okay, and from here a new thread will start, and here one more thread will start, here one more thread will start, and here one more thread will start. That means when main thread reaches this line, at that time already 4 threads are executing in the background, executing each one of these methods. Okay, and main thread says I will wait here unless and until all 4 threads completes, all 4 other threads completes their execution. Okay, and after that, when all 4 of them completes, main thread populates the values of those sub threads into these properties, and then we are passing that data as a model to the view. That's it. It's that simple. We have achieved what we want, but we have not spoken anything about asynchronous controllers yet. So in order to understand asynchronous controllers, let's do couple of more R&D. So what I'll do is, here I'll simply create a string variable, int variable. I'll say int thread thread1 id equal to thread. For using thread, we need to implement this namespace thread dot current thread dot manage thread id. Okay, it will give me the id of the thread, the current thread, and here I'll say thread2 id, and here I'll say create two more view bag. I'll say view bag dot initial thread ID ITI equal to thread 1 ID and view bag dot final thread ID FTI equal to, see these are the just names, okay, which I gave. I'll say thread 2 ID. Now let's execute. Okay, before that let's go to our view and let's do some changes. I'll say enter. I'll say initial thread ID is, I'll say @view bag dot initial thread ID. Break tag, enter. Final thread ID is @view bag dot final thread ID. Now let's execute and see what kind of output we get. Let's press F5, okay, and let's see what we will get. As you can see, initial thread ID is 6 and final thread ID is also 6. Let's recheck again. Again same, initial thread ID is 9 and final thread ID is 9. Now let's go back to our code and let's understand it again. As I said, as soon as I make a request, as soon as a user make a request to any action method, a thread get allocated for him from the thread pool. Okay, there is a thread pool in IIS. One of the thread will be retrieved from that thread pool and will be assigned to that request. That thread will start executing this code line by line, and when it reaches here, it will start creating new threads, new child threads. And when that main thread reaches here, it says I will wait unless and until my all child threads complete their execution. And once all the child threads complete their execution, it will execute this line and it will go further. That means thread which was here and thread which is here, the main thread, I'm talking about main thread, not child thread. The main thread which was here and the main thread which is here is same. That's why the thread ID of both of them are same. Okay, but if it goes like this, there is a problem. Let's understand that problem. IIS contain thread pool. Thread pool contain set of threads. Each time a new request comes, a thread from thread pool is assigned to serve that request. Now that thread get released when the execution completes, or we can say when request is completely served. Now let's say because of some reason request is in a wait mode, or we can say execution is in a wait mode. So for that duration the thread will be in a wait mode as well. So if this keep on continue, we will end up at a point where there will be no thread available to serve any new request. That means we will end up with thread starvation. Thread starvation means when new request comes, it will go to wait mode because there is no one that, or we can say there is no thread available who can serve that request. Now in the earlier example which we did, as soon as our main thread reaches this line, it will get into wait mode and it will continue its execution only after its 4 child threads complete its execution. Now as a solution to thread starvation, what we should do is, as soon as main thread reaches this line, we should release it so that it can be used for serving some other request. And when all 4 child thread completes its execution, a new thread from the available thread pool get allocated to serve the same request again, and it will continue its execution from this line automatically. If we can do this somehow, it will solve the problem of thread starvation automatically. And this is where asynchronous controllers comes to picture. Asynchronous controller will let us solve the problem of thread starvation. Now to implement asynchronous controllers, you have to follow simple 4 steps. Step number 1, change your base class from controller to async controller. Step number 2, in your action method, instead of returning action result, return task of async result. Step number 3, mark your action method as async. Step number 4, this task.whenAll, attach await keyword here. That's it. If now someone make a request to this action method, a new thread from a thread pool get allocated to serve his request. When thread reaches this line, it will create a new thread, and when by the time it reaches here, there is already 4 thread created, and now when that main thread reaches this line, thread get released automatically. And once all the 4 child threads get completed, automatically a new thread from the thread pool get allocated to the same previous request again, and it will continue its execution from here. To confirm the same, let's execute this application. Let me put a breakpoint here, and let me put a breakpoint here. Let me say execute. Say /test/dashboard, enter. It's here. If you check the thread ID, it's 7. The main thread ID is 7. Okay, I'll say F10, 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 F10. 4th thread started. Now as soon as I say F10, main thread is released. Now when all 4 of these methods complete their execution, a new thread from the thread pool get allocated here. So now if you check the thread ID, it will not be 7 anymore. It's something different, that is 10. So automatically when the execution reach this line, thread get released, and as soon as this 4 get completed, a new thread from the thread pool get allocated here. And that is what asynchronous controller does. It will let us solve the problem of thread starvation. See, initial thread ID was 7 and final thread ID is 10. In our earlier example, both were same. Let's test it again. Let's press F5. See, 11 and 10. Every time you will get different thread ID. That means the one thread which started serving the request and one thread which completed serving the request is very different. So that's it about asynchronous controller. If you have any questions, what you can do is you can drop a mail to questpond@questpond.com, or you can directly drop a mail to me also. Okay, thank you very much. Bye bye.